Welcome back to Open BXRx. Have you been seeing a surge of blue mopeds around the Bronx? That's because Revel, an electric moped service, arrived in our borough back in April. The company aims to provide a safe way to commute for all and has been offering free rides for essential healthcare workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Joining us now to speak more about it is Frank Reig, CEO of Revel. Hi, Frank. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I want to get straight into it. Tell us a little bit about Revel, its inception, and its arrival here in the Bronx.
Yeah, so Revel was a shared electric vehicle company. We started about 2 years ago in Brooklyn. So we're a homegrown New York company. I'm a native New Yorker myself. Yet, can't seem to leave the city. Started 2 years ago in Brooklyn and really have just grown responsibly since then. So we've continued to expand the operating area in both Brooklyn and Queens over the last 2 years. And about 10 weeks ago, we launched Manhattan. And then soon after, we launched an operating area in the South Bronx. And it's been going really well.
Welcome to the Bronx, and thank you for
Yeah.
bringing the service here. I wanted to ask you about the shift in providing free rides for essential healthcare workers. How did you start this initiative, and how does it work?
So we started that initiative about 9, 10 weeks ago. That was, I believe it was March 20th was the exact day the initiative went out. So it was free rides for all healthcare workers, whether you work at a dermatologist office or a hospital or a pharmacy, anything involved in healthcare, you had free rides with us over the last 9, 10 weeks. Yeah, I mean, it was just something we just thought had to be done, right? When you think of everything that was happening in March and April and all the terrible news and everything that you saw, what was going on in hospitals, it just made sense. Especially when you think about a lot of people that work in hospitals, they need to get to work somehow. And I think everyone is a little, I wouldn't say afraid, but I think thinking twice about getting onto a bus or a train right now.
Right. And when Revel heard about the MTA shutdowns, you also transitioned to 24-hour service for other essential workers. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
That was another thing that just made sense to us. When the governor and mayor announced the subway in New York City was no longer going to be 24/7, was shutting down, I believe, from 1 to 5 a.m. We just thought, okay, I think now is a good time to expand to 24/7 because guess what? Some people, their shift does end at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and they need a way to get home. So again, that was just something that we thought just made sense to do.
Right. Something else you have that I wanted to bring up is the restaurant partnership as well.
So that was something. So my personal background is I came to running an electric vehicle company through a weird path. But I used to work in restaurants for about 4 or 5 years earlier in my career after college. So I just have a soft spot in my heart for local independent restaurants, people just trying to make it. And then you hear this news about third-party delivery apps charging them commission fees and 30% and all of this. So we just thought, you know what, let's work with the small independent restaurants and coffee shops and even bars, really anybody in the hospitality industry that wants to do delivery, trying to survive this from a business perspective. And we gave about 40 restaurants, I believe was the last time I checked, free access to Revel to do those deliveries.
Wow, that's wonderful. I wanted to learn about how the writing works. How can people use Revel? Who can use it? And what are some of the costs?
Yeah. So I would say step one is you need a driver's license. It is a vehicle, or maybe I've seen it in the street. This is not an e-bike. It's not a kick scooter. This is a moped. It's a motor vehicle. It rides and parks in the street. It has a license plate. To get that license plate, every user gets in our vehicle has auto liability insurance already baked into the ride. So there's really a home for this vehicle on New York City streets. There's a regulatory environment already. I think it's one of the reasons why it's been so successful over the last 2 years and why we've been able to grow. But again, just going back to your question a bit, all you need is a driver's license. You need to download the app. You need to go through the registration flow. And before you know it, you'll be out riding on an electric moped.
All right, so you just approach the Revel on your block wherever it's parked, and you can scan the phone. How does that work? Is it just
So I would download the app ahead of time. So if you just go to any of the app stores, just type in Revel, we'll pop right up. It's a short registration flow. You need to take a picture of your license. You need to take a selfie so that we actually know it's that person on that license. So we do have some strict controls during the sign up feature. And you should be signed up in 5-10 minutes as long as everything goes well, and you can be out riding. So I would say download the app, register before you actually get on the streets, and go looking for a Revel.
Right.
And then, like a lot of dockless mobility, once you open up the app and you're a registered user, you'll see where all the Revels are in the Bronx. So you'll say, okay, there's 1-2 blocks away. Let me reserve it. So we have a reserve feature, 15 minutes for free. So reserve it, walk on over to it. You hit start ride in the app. It's an electric vehicle, so it just turns on. Helmet case unlocks. You throw a helmet on, and you're off. So it's a pretty seamless, easy process.
Got it. Thank you, Frank. And, as you heard, folks, if you're thinking of riding Revel, you need your license. So I just want to get into recommended riding safely rules and, how can people cautiously ride during COVID-19? I've seen, there are a few worries about injuries that have happened. And I just wanted to address that real quick. Can you give us a comment on that? And also just give us a few pointers for people to ride safely?
Yeah, I mean, not only is it state law, it's our law. If you ride a Revel, you need to wear a helmet. There are 2 helmets provided on every single moped, and it is there for you to use, and we mandate it to be used. I would say in general on safety as well, that registration flow, it really does a lot for us. Requiring a license, and not just requiring a license, but also making you take a picture of it, take a selfie so that we know it is that person on that application. So we have a lot of controls in just who gets on our vehicle and making sure it's the right person with a license to get on that vehicle. And currently, you do need to be 21 and older to ride a Revel. That's been a rule since day one.
And some folks also have sanitation concerns, with
Mhm.
COVID-19 and the pandemic, people wearing masks and gloves at times. Can you tell us about how Revel is ensuring that these mopeds are cleaned regularly?
Totally. So these are fully 100% electric mopeds. So because of that, there's a battery in every moped that needs to be changed in the Bronx, where we're seeing really high ridership, literally every day. So every single day, my team, which by the way, full-time employees, we don't use the gig economy in every way, in any way. Any person working with Revel has a t-shirt that says Revel on it, has full health benefits, has an actual living wage. So that's just something we've done from day one. So that employee is going to that vehicle, doing a full clean down every time they swap that vehicle. So wiping the handlebars, the brake levers, the helmets themselves with helmet cleaner. And then on top of that, we provide disposable helmet liners in the helmet case so that people maybe want, something between their head and the helmet themselves. And then a few other things we're rolling out over the next few weeks is one-time use sanitary wipes. That'll be in the helmet case as well. So before you ride, if you want to wipe down the handlebar yourself, you can do that. And then finally, we're also doing 2 other things. We are offering the ability to purchase a helmet at a discounted price through some e-commerce partners that we're setting up right now. So that should be live in the next week or 2. So if you want your own helmet, you can get one at a discount, and we'll set that up and make it really easy for you. And then the last one is just a more permanent headliner that's Revel branded, and we'll be putting those in all the helmet cases shortly as well. So that'll happen with the one-time use sanitary napkins. So we're trying to do everything we can here to keep these vehicles super clean and safe.
Right. You also have lessons I read on your website. There are ridership lessons. How do those work and how can people access those?
Sure. So we have done one-on-one lessons for free since we launched back in 2018. So we've literally given thousands of lessons at this point to users throughout Brooklyn and Queens. Because of coronavirus, it sort of put a crimp in the plans of one-on-one lessons and being that close to somebody. So we're rolling out a full 15-minute lessons video shortly. It seems like everything is coming out in the next week or 2, but this is one of those things as well. And then we'll just respond to as the city starts to open up and come out of quarantine, and when we offer lessons again. I'm hoping within the next month or so. Clearly, the most important thing is our employee safety, and we just need to make sure that we're at a point where that's something we can start doing again. And then once we do, we'll always have them at our office in Brooklyn, and then we'll also do traveling lessons like we did last summer. So on Saturdays and Sundays, we'll be going to different neighborhoods. We'll do an email blast beforehand, let people know to sign up for those lessons. Hey, we're coming to your neighborhood to give lessons. Come on by. So that's something I hope to have up and running again in the next month.
Right. Every time I see a Revel vehicle or a moped around the streets, I'm just like, I feel like I'm in a different country because like in Dominican Republic we have so many, and here I've
Right.
never really seen that many scooters. So I think it's wonderful, and thank you, Frank, for your time and telling us more about it. Just some final comments and messages to the community that's thinking of using Revel and those that are currently using it already.
I would just say give it a try. It is a lot of fun. I think once you use an electric moped, you're not going to look back. So thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Folks, to begin riding with Revel, you can simply search Revel in the iPhone App Store and Android Play Store and download. Open BXRx. We'll be right back.